Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Wednesday, the 14th of November, comes to you from London. We start by looking at the dollar index, pulling back a little bit, but still bullish on all three time frames, and that euro, of course, weak on three time frames on that stronger dollar. Against the yen, the dollar remains strong, so this is really our signal that dollar strength is key there. And sterling jumped yesterday on Brexit hopes, but is still bearish in the short-term chart against the dollar. Against the euro, looking much stronger, bullish on all three time frames. Sterling against the Swiss franc looking a little bit higher as well, and against the Aussie dollar creeping up there too. Bitcoin we're seeing is up 0.4%, but that's not enough to change the trends from being bearish. And last night the S&P 500 index closed slightly down, the Nasdaq slightly up, and the Dow Jones index was down 0.4%. So no real signs of a quick recovery here in prices, and the Russell 2000 was down 0.25%. The futures today pointing lower, so it does look like the US markets will open lower again, have a tough time. Tech really weighing heavily there. The FTSE just opening this morning was down on the future 0.75%, and if we look at that, we see that FTSE is in bearish territory there at the moment. Looking at the mid 250, we're actually up slightly this morning. So yesterday we were up, so we haven't got the pricing yet coming in there, but we are looking like we will be lower. The CAC Current also, the DAX lower on the future as well. So we're seeing markets generally just struggling to make new highs there. The CAC Current yesterday was up 0.8%, but likely lower today with the with the DAX and the FTSE lower. Looking at the Hang Seng Index, we see down 0.7%, China down 0.85%, and the Indian market is actually up 1.16%. Aussie market down 1.75%. Big moves yesterday in crude oil, down several percent, putting us at 65 on Brent crude. So it plummeted yesterday, and so we are in bearish territory, and we have been saying that we're below the cloud. That's when we should expect falls. So looking very bearish indeed. WTI also capitulating yesterday. US nat gas going the other way, breaking $4.10. Sitting at 411. That target of 410 was given last week, and we just ran there very, very quickly. Gold is struggling to hold $1,200 this morning, and silver is slightly up, but again bearish on that short-term chart. US 10-year yields sitting steady at 3.14%, so short-term bearish, but medium and long-term bullish. And looking at the Bund, we see bond prices actually recovering a little bit there. Taking a look at that data all coming to you from Thomson Reuters Icon or Metastock Zenith. Taking a look at Yahoo pricing, we see here we had some pretty big falls in the Nasdaq again yesterday. Alphabet down 0.13%, Amazon down 0.34%, and Apple down a further 1%. These are the stocks really that are driving the market lower. Facebook recovered a little bit, but is still now in the low 140s and looking bearish on all three charts. And if we look at some of the other stocks, we had Microsoft was up slightly. Netflix actually was up slightly as well, and Tesla was up 2%, so bucking the trend there a little bit. Taking a look at the Aussie market, we do have some still quite CYBG up 3%, so not all fallers, but the chart's still looking pretty bad. We've got Avio down 9%. Pact Group Holdings down 9.7%. So we are still seeing some pretty big falls. Sigma Healthcare down 6%. A lot of these charts looking very bearish indeed. The Nifty 50 in India, Hindustan Petroleum Corp, despite the fall in the oil price, it was up, but still looking bearish on the short term. And taking a look at the worst performers in the Indian market, Sun Pharmaceuticals down 7%, Gao down 3%. Chinese market, only a handful of stocks up, and again, China's down just under 1%. So we're seeing here a couple of surprises to the upside, but boy oh boy, lots to the downside. And Hong Kong similar, and we're seeing here some pretty big CSPC down 5%, for example. So we are seeing quite big falls there. Taking a look at the Japanese market, looking a little bit better here. Tokyo Electric and Power Company Holdings. And if we look at the other side, we still do have some big falls as well. We've got Ebara down 8%. Credit Saison down 6%. So we are seeing some big falls. Looking across to Europe, we look at the FTSE 100 just opening now. So we're seeing the pricing coming in here off Yahoo Finance. Easiest thing is just to rank and see where the performance are. Smiths Group's up 4%. Croda up 2.5%. Looking bearish though below the cloud there. Micro Focus up 2%, having had big falls earlier this year. EasyJet up 1.4%. On the downside, we see here we've got Ferguson down 3%, British Land, Antofagasta. So we are seeing some pretty big fallers as well. In the FTSE 250, ranking these, First Group up 10%, James Fisher and Son up 5%. Interesting, that's up 10%, but on First Group, but really looking bearish below the clouds here. Underperformed the market by more than 20% this year. Polymetal International up 4%. Again, has broken out in that medium-term chart, so we are seeing signs maybe of a recovery there. Looking at the worst performers, Premier Oil down quite significantly. That oil price not helping, of course. So undoing a lot of its gains this year. Had outperformed the Dow Jones Index by 75% at one point. Hunting Group down 3.5%. Renishaw down as well. And Petrofac, we're seeing oil stocks being pretty badly hit. Cairn Energy, Tullow Oil. No big surprises there. Across to Europe, if we look at across the European spectrum, we see Smiths is actually topping the table there. A lot of the London stocks, Lufthansa are up 3.3%. So looking a little bit better, maybe just finding some support in the long term, but has underperformed the market by more than 40% this year. So it's a hollow rise, really. Aiden up down 7%. Galp Energy down 6%, and inevitably we're seeing oil stocks being hit quite hard. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.